Guys, what's going on? So, although not officially released on KTM's USA website, the RCR 990 pricing is starting to leak in from other markets, and boy are they proud of that machine. So if this pricing sticks, it's going to mean that the KTM is going to be the most expensive motorcycle in the super middleweight class. Now, how expensive are we talking about? Well, so far what I've been able to find is 14,000 British sterling pounds. That translates into $17,500 roughly. The race version, by the way, is 16,000 British sterling, which checks in at about $20,000. So $17,500 is a lot of money for a super middleweight, regardless of who's making it. But how does it stack up to the rest of the field? Well, the first bike that comes to mind may be the Ducati V2 Panigale. The new bike, the one that's been revamped, and the one that those have ridden it have been saying it might be the best V-twin sport bike they've ever put on the street. That motorcycle is checking in at $16,000, a full $1,500 less. And for $16,000, you get a Ducati with all the panache that comes with it. The next motorcycle that probably comes to mind, though, is the Suzuki R9. And that motorcycle, based on the MT-09 and the XSR 900 engine architecture with the CP3, that bike is checking in at $12,500. A full $5,000 less than the KTM. And it doesn't give up that much to the KTM in the process. Yes, it's the least powerful of those three, but it's not by enough power that it would really be anything noticeable in very spirited riding. They all weigh very similarly, and well, all of them have phenomenal rider electronic suites. So what are you really giving up with the Yamaha? To be honest, you're not giving up all that much, and it's a ton of bike for $12,500. But you can't just stop there, because the middleweight class, which does incorporate that super middleweight, it also includes motorcycles like, you guessed it, the GSXR 750. That motorcycle at $13,000 has been the darling of the middleweight, or in this case now super middleweight class. And at roughly 145 horsepower at the flywheel is by far the most powerful of the group. And at $13,000, it's practically, well, it's the second least expensive, but this bike's been around forever, and aftermarket support is second to none for the Suzuki. So what would be the better track bike? The KTM with its extremely powerful parallel twin at 130 horsepower, tons of torque on demand. That Ducati, oh man, that thing is looking to be the most of a scalpel of any of these bikes. The R9, which is going to be right there in the hunt, or the GSXR 750, which can be made to be whatever you want it to be, it seems like. Tough to call. But you also can't discount the rest of the middleweight class, because that incorporates all of the 600 super sports that are falling out of fashion to these larger super middleweights. And with the Kawasaki ZX6 and the, well, race only R9, but the GSXR 600 still in play in many markets. The CBR 600 also. God, there are so many options. And all of them are very strong performers in their own right. And they all offer up different riding experiences. But they all check in at far less in terms of investment than the KTM. And so I've got to ask, for you guys that may be a big fan of middleweight sport bikes, would you still consider spending the extra money for the KTM? Keeping in mind that as this video is being shot, that company is kind of on its heels. KTM is struggling right now. And moving on into the future, there's some folks that may be a little bit concerned about dealer support for that motorcycle. But even if you take that away, the KTM at $17,500, man, seems like a pretty stiff proposition, even if all of their financial woes weren't the case. I got to tell you, for that kind of money, you could pick up an R9 and then pick up a used GSXR 1000 and have both of them sitting in your garage. So I'm not really sure that the value proposition is there for the KTM, but you guys may feel differently. So post up and let me know, and I hope to catch you on the next one.